Back at another YouTube video, it's your boy Uriah G. Today we're going to react to 10 former wrestling stars who still work behind the scenes. We're going to react to 10 former wrestling stars who still work behind the scenes. Let's get right into the video.
Listen up, football fans.
Alright, we have an advertisement right now.
Light fades and a professional wrestler's time in the ring comes to an end due to age, injuries, or whatever else, it can be hard for a one-time star to adapt to life without wrestling. Fortunately for some, even though they may no longer be plying their trade in the squared circle, they have a particular talent or skill set that enables them to work in the business in another capacity. I'm Sam Driver from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are 10 former wrestling stars who still work behind the scenes. Join us! Number 10. Scotty 2 Hotty. As a member of Too Cool, Scotty 2 Hotty was a part of one of the most popular acts of the Attitude Era, and long after both Grandmaster Sexay and Rikishi.
Speaking of Scotty 2 Hotty, like, if y'all listen to my music, bro, I have like 1 or 2 Scotty 2 Hotty bars in my songs. That's off topic, but let's continue the video.
He had left the company, the Master of the Worm stuck around as a solid hand who could be plugged into the Cruiserweight division, or more likely, used to put rising stars over. Released in 2007, Scotty was brought back into the fold in 2016 as a coach at the WWE
I did not know that he got released in 2007.
Performance Center, a job he would do for the next 5 years. Toward the end, however, the former tag team champion realized that, though he enjoyed his job, he was at the point that he was simply doing it for a paycheck and wanted to get back in the ring himself. And so it was back to the indies for Mr. 2 Hotty, who was happily doing the Weekend Warrior thing when Sonjay Dutt, another ex-wrestler working backstage, asked him if he wanted to come and try out for AEW as a coach and producer. The tryout was successful, and Scotty's been working for Tony Khan's organization since late 2023. Number 9. Molly Holly. Despite being relatively inexperienced in her own right, Nora Greenwald was such a natural that just a couple of years into her own in-ring journey, she was recruited by Randy Savage to show his then-girlfriend Gorgeous George the ropes. Having wrestled as Mona and Miss Madness for WCW, Greenwald would soon join WWE as Molly Holly, cousin.
These are pretty much wrestlers who still have a role in the company in a different position besides wrestling.
Of Hardcore and Crash.
In the ring.
Once again, she hadn't been around for too terribly long when she was asked to help Trish Stratus and Stephanie McMahon prepare for their match at No Way Out 2001. Clearly, Molly had a knack for teaching, and for the next few years, she'd be one of the pillars of an ever-improving women's division before leaving the company and professional wrestling in 2005. A devoted Christian with plenty of interests outside the ring, it was thought that Holly really was done, and she didn't do much in the business for a long time before becoming a trainer at the Academy Wrestling School in 2016. Special appearances for WWE led to a Hall of Fame induction in 2021, after which Molly was hired full-time as a producer and coach, with reports indicating she was receiving
I've never watched her in-ring work, but I know she was teaming with some male wrestler. I forgot, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was was it Hardcore Holly? I could be wrong. Or was it Hurricane? It was somebody.
High marks for her work. Number 8. Chris Hero. A true student of the game who made it his mission to learn as many different styles as possible, Chris Hero was one of the new crop of indie stars who helped revitalize and revolutionize the scene in the early 2000s. Hero traveled all over the world, wrestling for promotions in Mexico, Japan, the United Kingdom, and Europe, as well as for many outfits in the United States, such as Ring of Honor, CZW, Chikara, and PWG. In 2012, Hero signed with WWE, where he wrestled for the NXT brand as Cassius Ohno. Left, traveled the world a couple more times, and then returned in a player-coach role for both NXT and NXT UK. There were few talents with as much diversity of experience who could still contribute physically, but Hero was nonetheless let go as part of wider cost-cutting measures in 2020. But a man with—
Okay, so he got cut from the company. Just straight up cut.
The wrestling mind of Chris Hero wasn't going to be out of work for long, and in 2023 he began working with AEW as a coach/producer ahead of signing on full-time in 2025. Number 7. Drake Maverick. Perhaps lacking in size, but certainly not lacking in talent, UK independent star Spud grafted hard.
Rockstar Spud. I mostly know him from like TNA though.
In his home country before getting his big break in the US with TNA after winning their British boot camp reality show. As Rockstar Spud, he wrestled for TNA for just over 4 years before requesting his release. In October 2017, the same month he left Impact Wrestling, he signed with WWE and subsequently debuted as Drake Maverick, the babyface GM of 205 Live. From there, he would work as the manager of the Authors of Pain, be heavily involved in 24/7 championship shenanigans, and then have a run as a cruiserweight in NXT. He was released, rehired, and then released once more in the space of a few months, only to be brought back once again a few months later. This time, however, it wasn't as an on-screen talent, but as a member of the WWE creative team, assigned to working on the Raw brand. Not a bad place to end up for the man who was once forced to shoot piss himself live on pay-per-view. Number 6.
I literally turned my head soon as he showed that, and I did not know that that's what happened. Was that real or was that just part of the script? Like, was that actually like, did he really get scared and like end up doing that on TV?
Scotty Riggs. A star for WCW and ECW during the 90s, Scotty Riggs fell on some hard times when his days in the limelight were over. Riggs spiraled into addiction after he was forced to become the full-time caregiver for his mother, which took a huge mental toll on the former WCW Tag Team Champion. When his mother passed away, Scotty felt purposeless, and while living in his car and suffering from a deep depression, contemplated ending it all. A call from his old American partner, Buff Bagwell, changed things, leading to an intervention from Diamond Dallas Page. DDP not only helped Riggs recover physically, mentally, and spiritually, but also put in a call to Tony Khan, who was eager to contribute to Scotty's changing fortunes. And so, in 2024, Riggs began working for AEW in a role that encompassed a few different things, including logistical support, driving talent around, as well as a bit of coaching and match agenting. It's yet another example of how AEW and Tony Khan value the industry's veterans and often give them an opportunity to contribute after years in the wilderness. Number 5. Billy Kidman. Billy Kidman was one of WCW's true
I think he does like the shooting star press.
homegrown success stories. The talented cruiserweight who helped popularize the shooting star press had bangers with the likes of Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, and others, and was involved in some memorable storylines and angles, and even holds a rare pinfall victory over Hulk Hogan. He came to WWE when Vince McMahon purchased WCW in 2001 and would have a decent run there too prior to being released in 2005. After a couple of years on the indies, Kidman began working as a trainer.
Florida Championship Wrestling. Man, I used to watch that. Like, they used to have the little episodes. A lot of the WWE superstars came from there. Not all, but like, some of them.
For WWE Developmental Territory Florida Championship Wrestling, before being rehired full-time by WWE as a producer in 2010. From there, Kidman began primarily working in the backstage gorilla position, where it was his job to time the shows out. If a match went long or something happened to mess up the flow of an event, it was up to Kidman to adjust things so that everything ran smoothly. A high-pressure job when it comes to live TV. Kidman, who has from time to time appeared on screen to break up brawls, has been with WWE ever since, apart from a 5-month period during the pandemic where he was furloughed. Number 4. Jerry Lynn. You'd struggle to say that Jerry Lynn had a bad career given the fact that the Minnesota native had runs in WCW, ECW, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor.
He was in 5 different companies. Wow. Well, I'm gonna try to get... Who's... Bro, come on, man. Really? Whatever, bro.
many to Randy Orton as someone who picked up the business at a lightning quick pace, with some going as far as to assert he had even more potential than the Legend Killer. Brought up as the leader of the
Spirit Squad. Who's this guy? What's his name?
McGig as a backstage days. Old pushes and her past experience. The new since his issue. WWE developmental deal at the age of 18, he was likened by many to Randy Orton as someone who picked up the business at a lightning quick pace, with some going as far as to assert he had even more potential than the Legend Killer. Brought up as the leader of the Spirit Squad, Dome was repackaged as Kenny Dykstra, and the early signs suggested he'd get a push due to his association with Rated RKO and his feud with Ric Flair. But Dykstra quickly floundered, and the next couple of years were characterized by WWE throwing things at the wall, a tag team with Johnny Nitro, a partnership with Victoria, and hoping that something would stick. Nothing really did, and he was
Got released. Well, he probably really wasn't that much to the company, but well, at least this is what the video's titled. They still work behind the scenes, so I mean, he still plays a role in the company, in the business.
Least hit the indies and briefly came back for a short, forgettable run on SmackDown with former Spirit Squad member Mikey. It didn't do too much for his in-ring career, but
yeah, they came back, was it 2017? I think he just said what year, but yeah, Spirit Squad came back. They might as well bring him back again. They should bring Spirit Squad back.
But evidently, WWE was still keen on Kenny, and he was brought back to work as a trainer in the PC in
He's a coach.
October of 2021. 2 months later, he became a backstage producer on Raw and SmackDown, with Chelsea Green giving
Now he's a backstage producer.
Doan particular credit for helping her with her character development. Number 2, Madison Rayne. After paying her dues on the indie circuit for a handful of years, Madison Rayne got her break when she was signed by
Yeah, I remember her from TNA. Did she join a different company?
TNA in 2009. Joining the Beautiful People stable, Madison was initially a supporting member,
Okay. Like I said, I know Madison Rayne from TNA. I don't know too much about her, but I did watch a couple of her knockouts matches, because, they're called knockouts in TNA. But, yeah, that was 10 former wrestling stars who still work behind the scenes. Tell me what you guys want to see next in the comments down below. I got more videos coming. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment, and yeah, Uriah out.